We are live. Hello and welcome.
Hello.
Hello, Remy. Hello, Little Homestead by the Beach, Marilyn. I think Mallory's here.
There's a lot of movements. Hello.
Hello, Lynn. Hello, Annie. And I think that is it. Say hi if you're there. We were chatting in the comments as you guys were logging in.
Oh.
We were saying that the price of gas is ridiculously high.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Actually, do you know what it was? We just went out.
Nope, I didn't even get to look.
No.
I've heard that it was $1.80 something. I think Lynn mentioned something.
Yeah, there's a town about an hour from us, and someone posted before the price hike, it was $1.87. And diesel was like $1.97 or 99, something like that. And I'm like, isn't diesel usually cheaper?
Yeah, usually diesel was cheaper, and then they got approximately the same price. My husband used diesel now, and he has a flatbed.
Oh no.
Sees those things go up. He's like, oh my god. Thank God it's not his truck, so he doesn't have to pay for the gas. But God, those things. Yeah.
No, that would be horrible.
Well, he drives from where we are till Ottawa. So that's 2 hours. And then he goes an hour past Quebec City. So that's close to 4 hours from home. He goes up to Mont-Tremblant and near the states lines in the south. So his territory is huge. So thank God we don't pay gas.
Yeah, no, that would be a lot.
Yeah. Well, it was 99 cents, I think, last year or the year before.
I remember we filled up 2 jerry cans for like $35 or $40.
Yep.
225 liter, and now it's 25. Well, now we don't know. Thank God we went on hydro. But now, before we went on hydro, we were paying like what, $30 to $33 for a jerry can.
It started off around 25, and then it was up to $35, $38 for.
Holy, you guys don't have solar. You just have the generator, right?
We did, yeah. Since we moved over to this new place.
Okay, so just generator 24/7.
What? Yeah, before hydro. So when we lived at the cabin, we had solar, but we moved here and then lived off a generator for the first like 5-6 months, and that was costing us like $800 to $1,000 a month before the price hike. And now we're on a hydro.
I guess you guys didn't calculate that, but you must be doing the happy dance by now.
Yeah, because we got our first bill, and it had a setup fee of like $40-something, but take away the setup fee, it was like $65 for 3 weeks.
Well, it's not that bad.
No, it's like
compared to $800, I'll take it.
Of course, like if you guys are saving $20, it's $20 in your pocket.
That's it.
That's how I see it. Let me catch up on messages. I know people were talking to each other. I planted seeds today. Woohoo! What did you plant, Lynn? Oh yeah.
Hi, Lynn.
Did you have the doctor's? That's not for me. Tuesday. I can't wait till it's over. I saw Instagram post. Okay, that's not for me. Hello.
Hi, Remy.
Remy's going to be like on 3 lives tonight. He has a live at the same time as this one, and he's going live on his channel right after me.
Okay. So I know where we'll be next then.
So he's going to be a busy bee tonight.
He is.
Mama Homemade says that it's $1.76 a liter.
Oh, wow. I wonder if what's it called? Gas Buddy?
I don't know.
And just an FYI, if at any time our internet cuts out, we will be right back. We're still without our satellite. So we'd use our phone data, and if that kicked out, our satellite would kick in, but we've been without it for a while.
So that wasn't resolved yet?
No. The guy called in that day, so
yeah, it was supposed to be done on Saturday. No, Saturday. Yeah. And then I guess somebody called in sick, so they're not going to be here till tomorrow.
Yeah.
Ouch. So it's been almost 2 weeks? No, a week.
Full week.
Yeah. Yeah, because we lost it the last time we were live with you. We lost it.
It was just before.
Yeah.
Okay, so Remy says, I think I left the other live stream. I can only win once anyway. And I had won something. Okay, so he's back. I planted bell peppers, crook's neck squash, patty pan squash, sage, ground cherries. Nice. I've heard. Okay, I am caught up. So just before I ask you guys a bunch of questions again, I just want to do like a quick recap of what happened today. Today is a very special day for me. 365 days ago, a year ago, I posted my first video on YouTube.
Woohoo!
My introduction video was a little bit earlier than that. It was a year and a little bit more. It was on December 22nd, 2019. And then I went MIA for like almost a year. Mallory, I don't know if she's here. Mallory from Quebec Homestead found me 2 years ago, and she was like, do it. You're so good. You're so natural. And then I waited a whole year, almost a year, before I posted my first official video, which was I think I was sowing onions. Yeah, onion seeds in plug trays. Oh, that was like my first big leap of faith. That was a year ago today.
Woohoo!
Yeah, I was kind of emotional about that because it's been a year.
Isn't that crazy?
Like when you start a project and you know that it's going to be like a very long journey, and then you're like, well, you're already 1 year in. So it's crazy when you think of it.
It is.
Another thing, a couple of lives ago, we talked about me doing stickers, and I got a special request to add merch to my store. I've done that. I'm not finished. But if you guys did not see the stickers, I have a couple here.
They're very cute. I love them.
Can you guys see?
I can see. I don't know about them, but I can.
I hope they can see. I'm trying to figure out my camera. Okay, so these are like some that I already put. And then my daughter left with a couple. Obviously. Those are all of... can you? I think you can see.
Yeah, we can.
That's a sunflower. This one. So everything's on the website. If Remy's there, can you add my my merch link? If you can't, I'll as you guys are answering questions, I'll go and add it. So last week we started and we talked about your journey, that you went through difficult times in the early 2000s. You went back to your mom's place.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And then within a couple of years after that, you sold everything. You went to Ontario, right? You left the United States. You went to Ontario.
Yeah. Back in 2008. So from 2005 to 2008 we lived in Michigan, and then we lost everything to the recession, and then we moved back to Canada and lived with my parents for just over a year.
Okay.
And then and then from there we just kept on plugging away, and neither one of us seemed to have good paying jobs at the same time. So it took us a while to get there, but eventually we just buckled down and started saving for our first house, which was in town. And then after we were there for 5 years, we sold it and moved up here.
Yeah.
In Ontario.
Yes.
Okay. Yeah. And you've been on your raw land for less than a year.
Oh, yeah. Since August 3rd.
Yeah.
Okay, so it's fairly new.
Yes.
And then from when you arrived, you started doing your pole barn, and then you started doing your house build about a month and a half ago?
The house build.
Well, yes and no. So before the ground totally froze, we were able to do the foundation for the house. So we got the footer done. We got the ICF blocks, the Fox blocks in, and all that cement poured. We haven't done the cement floor inside the house yet, but because we had the footer, we were able to build the frame of the house.
Okay, so you're missing the slab for the inside of the house.
Yeah,
it's not there yet. No.
Okay.
So we're deciding actually right now, do we pour cement or do we just build in a floor? We're not sure yet. So we're going to discover to see what we could do, what's cheaper, what's better for long haul, stuff like that. So we'll see.
Okay. So, I was going to ask you, what made you decide to go with a log house?
You want to get that?
It's faster to build,
Yeah.
and definitely cheaper.
Yes.
You'll run into heavier expenses doing some of the interior work, like running wiring, plumbing, things like that, unless you are able to make some concessions for that. But compared to a stick-built house, it's much, much faster and much more cost-effective.
Yeah.
And did you guys look at kits versus what you guys got?
We looked at a couple kits.
We did, but I think that was more before we decided we were even going to move and do this.
Yeah. And so it saved us a lot more money just to get the logs ourselves and put it together ourselves.
Yeah.
And did someone help you design the process, blueprints, and all of that?
Yes, I had been working with a carpenter, and we had built a couple cabins, and we were finishing up the interior of them. And so I took the same blueprint and the same build as those two cabins and put it together for ours.
Yes and no, because you took the idea, like the size was the same, but the whole blueprint of the main floor and upstairs was completely different. So
the interior design was definitely ours.
We drew up what we wanted, things that were important to us. So in our blueprints, we have a laundry room, a walk-in closet that's not huge, but it's enough to walk in, a pantry. We wanted to have a bigger kitchen, smaller bedroom, bigger living space. And so we were able to design, we put it in a rough print, and then we sent it off to, he's not an architect, but he can draw blueprints and everything that we need for the township. And then, so once all that was squared away and everything, then we submitted it to the township and it got approved.
When you say township, it's the actual town?
Yes, you need building permits.
Okay, for the permits.
Yeah, for the permits. So once everything was to where we wanted it, we gave it the blueprints over to the township, and then they approved it, and that's when we started building.
But you guys are paying, you're not on a loan for this?
Nope.
No.
Okay, so that I can't ask that question. I was going to ask you if it was a loan or a mortgage, but that doesn't work. That doesn't apply to you guys.
One thing actually a lot of people don't know is that from what we've been told by several banks and money people, you can't actually get a mortgage on blank land.
No, you can get what's called like a building loan, building loan or something.
Mm-hmm.
And it's a lot more complicated because you get a bit of the money up front, and then when you hit a certain point in the build, then you submit your paperwork again, I guess, and you get another chunk of money. So you go in stages.
Yeah.
Okay, so they release the money along the project.
Yeah. I mean, we've never done it, but that's what we've been told. Yeah,
I've heard of it because I remember before we even had kids, my husband and I went to timber blocks, and they told us that's how it worked. There's no mortgage. And he talked about someone going visiting and analyzing what you're up to, someone from the bank.
Mm-hmm.
And you can have complications if you don't follow your plan.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So you must be very organized if you do that, I guess. It's better to do it.
And that definitely wouldn't be for us, because
I'm sure you guys have some sort of organization to make it work.
We can plan well. We just don't necessarily always follow through. So we have all the good intentions and all the plans, but like even when we moved to this part of the land, we were like, okay, we sat down and we decided, all right, it was very quick decision, but if we were going to do this, if we were going to build and everything, there had to be certain things met, and we had a certain amount of money in mind. And if we didn't get that for our old place, like the asking price, then we couldn't do it. And so we showed it, and eventually it was about 6 weeks in, I'd say 4 to 6 weeks in, we finally got an offer. And but everything was very, very quick. Like we're spur of the moment kind of people, like, hey, you want to move? And we'll figure it all out as we go. So that's us.
Well, you guys sold at the perfect time, because last year, no, it was before that, in like the high peak of COVID, my friend put her house for sale, and within 3 weeks, everything was finished.
Yeah.
Sold, documents, offer, and some people actually have people offering more.
Yeah.
So they're battling for the actual house. So let's just say I'm going to put a number, 200. Someone's going to offer 250.
Yes.
It was crazy. That was like, people would not even visit homes and buy homes, like blindly buying homes.
Yep.
I would say 6 to 8 months in the COVID period.
Yeah. And so it'll be a year. So we were like a year in. House prices were still really high. I wanted to sell the cabin. I knew what it was worth. I knew people were looking for land. But I didn't want to be greedy either. So we had to sit down and decide, okay, it's not out of, I know, because we more than doubled what we paid for it. Mind you, we also put a lot of work into it. But we had to have a certain number in order to be able to do what we're doing, right?
Yeah, obviously.
So we figured that out, and then we put a little bit of an income to live, so we had money for a year, and that's what we're living from now. And it's gone a lot quicker than we thought.
So you guys were not planning this being super fast?
Like what super fast? The house build?
Yeah.
No, we were planning to be further ahead than where we are now, for sure. But, with a bunch of different things have fallen into place with Mike's shoulder, with weather, with all that stuff, it kind of got in the way. So we're not behind. We're okay with where we're at, but it's not as far as I thought by now we would be like putting in the kitchen and stuff like that. And we're still waiting on roofs or a roof and windows.
I'm sure when spring comes and all those bounties coming in, you're going to go, where's my kitchen?
Okay. I can go lay down.
I've always wondered, is a cabin like you've chose, is it isolated?
I think that's a matter of perspective, because for a lot of people it is very isolated.
Yes.
But we're 45 minutes from a town.
No, not isolated from the town. Isolated with the heat.
Oh,
insulated.
Insulated. Sorry.
That's okay.
That's my French coming out.
Well, go ahead.
Yep, it is fairly well insulated. The way it's built, heat works a little different in a few different ways. Because we're gonna have radiant heat from the wood stove.
Okay.
And
sorry, we have someone trying to call us. I'll message her.
Most of the heat will rise up to the ceiling, so we put most of the insulation in the ceiling, and that holds the heat down. But for the main part, like we were in a log cabin before, and through minus 35 weather, it was nice inside. Half the time,
but you would have obviously you have to have the wood stove working.
Yes, obviously.
If you would leave the cabin for a weekend, would your pipe freeze if you don't leave a low heat inside the house?
At the old cabin, yes, but we're trying to prevent that in this place. So we're going to put in some heated floors, and we're going to try to see if we can set it up where we have both that it uses the wood stove we're using as heat, and we're going to try to set it up as well for propane, so that if we do go away for a weekend, we can, switch it over, and then it heats at least the floors and all the pipes, because that's where the bulk of all the pipes will be. And so we're trying to figure all that out. Yeah.
Okay. So that's something we need to consider as if you build a log home.
Yeah.
Okay. As I am reading the comments, if you guys have questions for Mike and Angie, please put them in the comment section. I will read you guys. Hello, Mallory. Welcome again.
Hello.
Hello, little.
Say, in one of your comments, your very last comment is a spam. If a moderator wants to take it out, I just noticed it.
I think, yeah, I think I got it. Yeah, it's gone. Okay. Thank you for that.
No problem.
Hello, Blinda and Chuck. Hello, Little House by the Woods. Hello, Danielle. They were buying them here over asking and without inspection, and a lot are paying for that now. True, I've heard that.
Yeah.
I've heard that. How can you buy a house without an inspection? Like I understand not visiting the house.
What people ran into was they sold their house to get cash out or cash in and get all that money because they were getting all this extra money.
Yeah, but
now place to live.
Yeah.
And all the houses were getting bought out from underneath them. So it got down to the point where they'd go in and you'd go to see the house, and while you're viewing the house, somebody'd buy it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So they were just started bidding on houses like without, sight unseen, no inspections.
I know they didn't do an inspection on our place when we sold it.
No.
They came to look at it. They put an offer, everything went through, and then they wanted to come visit us to go over things because they'd never lived off grid before. And so I was like, now that stressed me out too, because I'm like, what if they don't know how to do it, or what if they don't make it? Then I feel guilty for selling them the house.
Well, not to be rude, but they were buying it. You didn't force their hand to buy an off-grid location. Like they went full in, and usually you're supposed to do your research before. Usually that's how it goes usually. At least you know a little bit before you jump in.
Right. I mean, we made it work, but you never know. I mean, as far as I know, they're okay, but
well, it's kind of too late. They crossed that bridge.
All right, but you're not getting your money back, honey.
No, that doesn't work that way. Oh, I missed you. Bye, Melody.
Go. Our puppy is in full swing, like she's trying to knock the table. And
your youngest, your little puppy?
Yeah, well, she's not so little anymore. Come here, Maggie.
We had to run up to the library to try and upload, and she was kenneled while we were gone, so now she's wired.
Oh, she's big
now. Maggie,
like she quadrupled.
Yep.
Okay, that's maybe exaggerated, but she's big.
She's gonna be a decent sized girl. She's half burner, so okay.
There's a question for you.
Yes.
Is the cabin one level?
No. And the reason we decided to add a second level to it is it's actually cheaper to build up than out.
Really?
Yep. So if you go for a wider footprint, it'll actually cost you more than if you just build up.
Yep.
Okay. Yeah. And are you building a full-size second level, or are you going to have like that triangle shape?
A bit of the triangle shape. There's a 4-foot wall. So the walls come up about 4 foot before you start with the roof, the peak.
Okay.
So there will be a little bit, but not much.
Yeah, like I can go almost all the way to the walls where the roof is. So at the center of the roof, you have like however many feet, maybe 12 feet, 14 feet up. Mm-hmm. And then as you go out towards the walls, it gets shorter. But I'm only maybe 2 feet away from the walls and I can still stand, right? So we'll probably have a walking space, maybe 600 square feet. And then the main floor is 750. So
yeah.
Are you doing a loft or a full second level?
Full second level.
Yeah.
Nice. And have you seen the people in that section here? They do like little closets.
Yeah, we want to do stuff like that.
like it's dead space. People don't normally use it, and I saw that because as we were shopping for my house, we were hesitating between this one and another one, and it had that shape, and I saw that they had a full wall of little mini doors that you would open, and they're closed. It's perfect. Like it was lost space, and they used it. We didn't buy it, but I find it ingenious. Like it was perfect.
Okay.
Of course, our inspection was absolutely useless. Sometimes
I see that more often than not. Like we had our other house in the city inspected, and there were several things that I noticed, and I'm not an inspector. So, yeah, it depends. You have to get somebody that really knows what they're looking for.
Yeah, but if you pay for someone to come here and he doesn't see it, is he responsible?
I'm not sure what the liability on that is. I know from
because we pay a lot for those guys to come here.
Yeah, they're not cheap.
No, they're not. They take pictures, and I've seen that often overpriced too, like 50,000 more. 50,000. God, that would be fun. Like you expect to have I don't know, 200 and get 250. That would be awesome.
Right.
That'd be awesome. 100,000 over asking price. That's nuts. Like, what is your house made of gold or like
go back up
diamonds? That's crazy. Before I move on to another question, do you guys have another one? You can ask them in the comments. I've asked that. You've walked a little bit. You talked a bit about that. How do you guys manage your lifestyle, like to afford what you're doing? If you want, to answer the question.
Oh, like money wise?
Yeah.
Right now, we are living off the sale of the cabin.
And whatever you guys do on YouTube.
Yes. Yeah. Okay. So hopefully going forward, I mean, hopefully YouTube will grow. It's never, I mean, I'm kind of in the mindset where if I could do YouTube, like our original goal for YouTube was for our grandchildren so that they could see, like Mike and I both said, we would love to have seen our grandparents when they were our age. And my grandparents built their house. His grandparents had a house brought to a piece of property. And so it would be really cool to see our grandparents at, our age or younger. And so we decided it was for all the grandchildren.
So like a journal of your story.
Yeah. And to show what, if you put your mind to something, where you start and then where you could go if you keep at it. So that was 2 lessons that we wanted, or 2 things that we wanted to incorporate with our channel. And then it got to the point where we got monetized. And now we're at a point where, I mean, we still have funds to live from for a little while, but if I can make something of YouTube too, I'll never lose the original reason why we wanted to start YouTube. But if it can go somewhere, if I can make a job out of it too, why not do what you love? And so before I go looking for a job, I'm going to try to put into it. But we're both going to need some kind of income sometime soon. And we do have other things in the works. We have 2 dogs that are highly sought after. So we thought about dog breeding. One of them's a Bernese Mountain Dog. They're very specific dogs that people look for. And then we also have Maggie, who's a Bernedoodle. So we thought about her as well. But at the same time, I don't want to make it a business, but do you know what I mean? But it would be once here and there, it'd be a good income stream. And then we want to find something to do as far as income from the homestead. We want to find a way to make something, or Mike's looking into schooling right now too for something. And so see if we can do something from the homestead so we're self-sufficient at home.
Didn't you guys mention that, or Mike said he wanted to learn how to make knives?
Oh, he would love to do that.
That's going to be a project of mine later on.
Yeah, after everything else is built.
Like far, far, far down the road.
Yeah, many moons away.
2, 3,
many moons away. Well, that would be fun.
Right? I think he'd be good at it because he loves them. So
Well, it would actually bring a flavor, like you guys creating like the handle of the knife, the shape of the knife,
Yep.
and then doing it at home would be amazing.
Mm-hmm.
Well,
Yep.
obviously there's a lot of tools involved,
Right.
And
and those,
forges aren't exactly cheap. You can do them on the cheap, but it
Mhm.
affects the quality of some things.
okay.
The cool thing though, you have to get a fire really, really hot. And so some of the trees we have on our property are actually used to forge. They're called ironwood. And you shouldn't put those trees in a fireplace or in a cook stove because they burn so hot they can actually warp your cast iron stuff and
Wow.
stoves.
Mhm.
And so we have quite a bit of that growing on the property. So that would be something for you to think about too.
That's like a wink, wink message.
Cut the ironwood down now so it's nice and dry.
When you arrived at your first cabin, were you able to garden, or did you have to create a garden? Or
We had a lot of work to do when we first arrived because the way that it was left, there was a lot of personal belongings and a lot of stuff around the homestead. And speaking of not looking at places, I mean, at least we went to the house, but we went in winter when the ground was covered. So when spring showed itself and no more snow was on the ground, we realized where we put our garden, the entire property was raspberry cane. And wild raspberry. So we, in our older videos, you could see us picking like forever of raspberry canes, and we still did it before we left. We cleared out a good section, but we still did it before we left. And so we were able to garden the first year. I had fairly big garden. Do you remember the size of it? It was probably like 50 feet long.
Yeah, it's by about 20 feet wide.
20 feet wide by 50 feet long.
Yep.
And we
nice.
grew some peppers, some tomatoes, squash, things like that. So I went right to town on the garden. It was important for me. So
what Mike said last week, to walk your land is important. So buying land, raw land, or something that has like even a structure,
yeah,
it would be better to buy it without the snow.
Yeah, because another thing we didn't know, where we put our garden happened to just be the perfect spot, but we still had some spots where we couldn't dig down more than like 2-3 inches, and it was because the house was built on a rock, and so the garden was right beside the house. And then we tried moving the garden, hoping it was better, and that was even worse. So where we are now, we actually have earth, and you could see in a few of our other videos, we're so excited, like the ground goes down, like we were able to dig 4 feet and not hit anything. So that was
strange, not even 2 acres away.
Mm-hmm.
That the soil changes that much.
Yeah, they're basically it's a hill, like it's on the top of a rock, and then you can see as you go down the hill a little bit, you can see all the cliffs and everything, because we're on the Canadian Shield, so we're quite rocky. Like we still have quite a bit of rock around us. Just where we picked for our house was perfect. That was a perfect mistake or accident.
I knew it was important to visit your house without like snow, but now that you're saying that, I'm seeing that it's even more important to walk all the land if you buy a lot. Like I only have 15,000 square feet.
Mm-hmm.
So I walked it, like I came 3 times to visit my house, and every single time I walked all around the property. I checked if there was water accumulating.
Yeah.
We tried to come when it rained. It was not fun, but as it rained, we saw where the water went.
Mm-hmm.
Because like obviously we want to garden. So the only thing I forgot to check is what you said, soil.
Mm-hmm.
I took for granted that because it's grass growing and we're in the country and we're an agriculture village,
Right,
that it was an epic soil.
right.
It turns out I'm like 80% clay. It was ridiculous. Like the water evacuates because of the way that the land is designed. Like we're on like a little steep hill, so the water goes like from the sides.
Yeah.
Okay.
But when I went to garden, and the first year I only put like I think 3 inch of compost, I had like a pool in my garden
Yep.
because the water wouldn't leave. And so I had to do like a market style garden, 8 inch, and then a little valley. And as I was adding more compost every single year, now it's okay. But I can't go down more than 8 inch. Like whatever I add as compost, as soon as I reach the original native soil, it's clay.
Right.
Yeah, well, it is. It is what it is. But like understanding your land, understanding what is under your land is as important. I learned that the hard way.
Yeah, we did too.
Well, now you're in the middle of the forest, so you could actually have clay or very good soil.
We've dug up both. We've dug up really nice clay and we've dug up really nice soil. The good news is though, with all the digging we did, we have a lot of topsoil for the garden this year. So we're going to see if we can find some compost, mix it in with the topsoil, and that's what we're planning to do the garden with. Maybe with.
Do you have farms nearby?
Yeah. I actually one of our friends' cousins lives close by, and they have a dairy farm. So I'm going to reach out and see if they want to sell some compost or something.
I'm sure they have. Some farms actually give it for free because they don't know what to do with it.
Right.
But sometimes it could be hot. If it's hot compost, then you can't really use it now. But if it's free, you can use it for
for future.
I think it's 2 years dairy from a dairy farm. I think so. But if it's free, it's fun.
Right.
I would love to pay $18,000 for 100 acres. I would love that.
No,
I'll go buy it right now.
No, well, he says I paid $18,000 for 100 acres and I can sell it for $100,000 now, 8 years after buying it.
You might want to check that again because I was just checking into land prices.
States, though.
Oh, it might be. Yeah. Because I know
Serge is in New Brunswick.
New Brunswick? Oh, wow.
Well, yeah, okay. It might be a little different. Because I know the land prices were going around $1,800 to $2,000 an acre up here.
Holy!
Yep.
To think of it, it was like 12 cents an acre not long ago.
Wow.
Like, not long ago. Maybe 10 years ago, before everything started going crazy.
Oh, yeah.
My boyfriend is sometimes looking for fun for apartments in Montreal. They can be $500,000 or more for a basement corridor without windows. Wow. You would have to shoot me before I would go with no windows and pay $500,000.
I can vouch for that. We are inside the barn with no windows, and it's not fun.
No,
it's not fun.
God, no windows and a basement. Okay, basement. My first apartment was in a basement, so it was not that bad during the summer. But it's so humid.
Yeah.
As like when you're young, okay, fine. But as you get older, back problems, neck problems, humidity. It's like,
not doing it. Not today.
No, not today. We used to not inspect, but not sure anymore since I've learned that you won't have much legal leverage if something is off and you didn't expect. Yeah, that's true. Yeah, that's why it's always said to at least get some sort of inspection on paper. Right. I know it's an investment, and I know you have to do it. Like if you visit 5 houses, you have to pay it for 4 or 5 houses. So I know it's a lot of money. Yeah. But it's to protect yourself. If you buy a house that's like a nightmare and you're dreaming of a homestead, you kind of to disguise your dream into like a complete horrific nightmare.
Oh, to touch back on something you mentioned before.
Yes.
If you are looking to buy a log cabin and you want to go away, you need to have some way to make sure the pipes are still heated. If you're buying a homestead, it's the same thing. If you're buying a homestead and you're getting livestock and things like that, you need to be able to figure out who's going to house it for you.
Yeah.
So, I mean, if somebody was looking to do a homestead, make sure it's something you love. Make sure it's something you really like, because it's literally making your vacation your lifestyle.
True.
That's what you need to look at.
I'm actually having that frustration right now. Every time we are asked to leave the house for a period of 48 hours, I have to refuse because I have no one to farm sit. Someone has to come at my house. My house won't freeze because I'm connected to the grid. So like I can just put the heat and that's it. I can leave.
Right.
But my ducks and my chickens, they need water every single day. They need feed every single day. And there's not many predators in my village, but okay, I have someone right next to my door. If they don't leave, I have to go. If someone doesn't check morning at night, at least my chickens, it's not like I would be worried. I would leave them for a maximum 24 hours.
Yeah.
Past that,
yeah.
And then the only other way you could do it is if you were to automate things.
Yes.
So if you had like an automatic feeder, an automatic water or something like that.
Well, now that we're on hydro, we talked about it at the last place, but now that we're on hydro, we are going to look into it a little bit more, so that we can automate things, at least for the chickens. I don't know how we'll do it for the goats, but we can always look into it.
Yeah.
Well, obviously making everything automatic helps, but if it's freezing.
True.
Yeah.
True. We are lucky in that in our area, we have like 2 or 3 friends where we house sit for them and they can house sit for us too. So we are able to get away. And that's another thing. Like if we were never able to get away, I don't know what we would do. Right. So we give the favor and we get the favor. So if you have someone that's local to you that, you could trust.
Well, I know if I ask my neighbors, I know they're going to say yes, but they're not farmers. They're not homesteaders. Like they will just get up in the morning. They're going to do what's required, but they won't know if there's a problem.
Yeah.
Because they don't know what to look for when they go in the coop. They won't, like, let's just say that they see blood on the floor. They won't know what to do. They won't, is it the chicken? Is it the ducks? They're just going to call me and going to say, well, I have a problem, and I will be not able to help them.
Right.
So that's, and then let's just say
enjoy your time.
So, and you're supposed to be on vacation. You're not supposed to troubleshoot over the phone.
Right.
So I know it's like me imagining things going wrong, but it's always when you leave the homestead that something happens.
Of course.
I don't know why, but it's always something. And we used to have someone that lived in the village next to us, which I find kind of weird. They were vegan. And they would come take care of my meat chickens and my chickens. I'm like, and they respected my decision to raise my own food and raise my own eggs.
Yep.
And his wife would actually sit in my coop for hours and talk to my chickens. She was so cute. He sent me a photo of her sitting in the coop talking to my chicken. So I know she was vegan, but like, now she's moved away. She sold everything and she bought an RV with her husband in retirement, and she's traveling Canada. But it was the only one person that I could trust to come at my house. And my best friend that lived in my village moved also.
Oh no.
And she's the one that had chickens. But like the ones that I have around me, I don't know. I probably will have to find someone that wants to come, because we haven't been on a vacation for 4 years.
Oh, wow.
Oh my.
How far away are you from me?
I'm 15 minutes away from the Ontario border.
Like 15 or 50?
15.
15?
I'm about an hour and a half from Ottawa. An hour to 2 hours. What else? An hour Alexandria.
I don't know that one. I'm just trying to think of where, like,
probably around 3 to 4 hours.
Like, are you north of Ottawa?
South
of Ottawa. Okay, so then you're probably only maybe
3.5.
I'd say 2. 2 to 3, depending. I'd have to look
I
it
think we've last time we chat, I think we've established that you were like 2.5 hours away from my house.
Okay.
I was thinking that.
Yeah. Like the nearest people around me are all about 2 hours away from me. It kind of like, I could actually, if someone would be willing, the morning that I leave, I check up everything. And then the next morning, someone comes up my house and then I arrive the next morning. If everything's automatic, I probably can make this work because they would only be like maybe 3/4 of the first day alone and then 3/4 of the third day. And I have cameras in my coop.
Yeah, that helps.
So I obviously, if I open the cameras and there's a problem, I can't do anything. But like I can see if there's something, and I can call a neighbor if ever need be. But when I calculated that last week, that it's been almost 4 years I haven't left the house for at least 24 hours, that kind of
bums you out a little, doesn't it?
Yeah. So it comes to say, if you want the homestead and you want livestock, gardening is okay if you leave a couple of days, unless there's like this huge drought. But if you have chickens or any type of animals, you really have to be passionate. Like passionate with like a capital P.
Yeah.
Or if you have good friends nearby.
I was gonna say we used to go to Michigan before pre everything that's going on now. We used to go to Michigan like 3-4 times a year, and we are able to get away better now than when we lived in town because we trade off, right? So but
well, I think now we can start breeding a little bit better. Everything is looking that we're gonna be able to travel a little bit,
hopefully.
So maybe a 24 hours away from home would work. We'll see.
Right.
We'll see. I think, I'm not sure why Marilyn says that it would have been difficult to bring a shovel to your visit. Oh, to check, to inspect the dirt.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Digging a hole and I didn't buy the house yet, and I shovel. That would have been a little odd.
Right.
If it was like a big land, maybe like you could see everything from the house. Here it's super rocky. My village is known to be land of rocks.
Yep.
We trade off with another family who has chicken, etc., and it helps our son get his volunteer hours for high school. Nice.
That's cool.
Huh.
Do you have a 4-hour group? Sometimes they will have kids who needs to volunteer and earn their badges.
4-H.
Yeah.
4-H?
Yeah.
I don't know. I would have to look. I don't know. I have sitters for my rabbits, but not for my cats that needs medication. So this part is more difficult for me. Christmas was 40 hours. I like. That's why I say we have to be passionate. Hello, Eldan. Because, like, if you have one chicken, you can probably bring her along with you. That would be funny.
Right.
But like, you're traveling the world with your chicken, but like as a pet. But 48 hours, I would say, is like the tops you can leave if you don't have someone that farm sits.
Right.
Yep.
And you guys have goats.
Yes.
Does that mean it's dairy goats or meat goats?
They're dairy.
Yeah.
So that means you hand milk them?
When they are in milk, yes. So right now June's in milk, but we let babies have the milk for the full 2 months, and then we kind of decide, because we're gonna have to sell the boy, and the girl we're probably gonna keep. We're in a little bit of a frustration right now with the goats, but we're gonna press on for a little bit. But when they are in milk, yes, we would have to have somebody milk them. So.
And that is your dairy for you, or you buy dairy at the store?
Right now we buy. When we were milking before, and that was our first time, so we've only had the goats for about 1.5 years. Yeah, so we've only had the goats 1.5 years, and we've never done anything like it. So we learned everything within the last 1.5 years, and so we did milk the goats before. And we did drink their milk. I actually froze some of their milk. I still have it in the freezer so I can make some goat milk soap.
Nice.
Yeah, we made butter. We used it for our coffee creamer. I never got around to making cheese, but just after we started milking them, probably 2 months, that's when we're like, hey, you want to move? So we didn't get a huge experience before, but yeah. Oh, I couldn't do that.
Eldan wanted to ask you a question. Why don't you make the male into meat? That's a tough one.
It's not because of like, okay,
why do we have a turkey that we haven't eaten?
There's a few reasons. We had meat birds and I butchered them. Me and Mike butchered them ourselves.
Yeah.
And I have no problem with that. We eat meat from the grocery store, so I wouldn't have any problem to raising goat meat and butchering for eating. There's only 2 ways I'd eat it though, or I'd actually do that. One, if I tried goat and liked it, which I don't think I've ever tried. And 2, if poop hit the fan and I had no meat source, I would definitely eat them. But right now, the only meat we really eat is chicken and beef. And so we just wouldn't butcher yet.
I find that it's hard to butcher an animal that's cute.
Yeah. Well, they grow up to not be cute. The boys, they can be little.
No, obviously the boy are stinkers sometimes, but we stopped raising meat rabbits because of that. Like I raise them. My husband harvests them.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I assist. No, that one I don't, because the way that it's set up, we can't. But for chickens, I do. I raise them, and he harvests them, and I help him out, clean them out, and all pluck them and stuff like that. I have no problems doing the chickens. I know that I'm taking a life, but I don't have a problem doing it because we decided to go down that road for many reasons. But I do not mind eating rabbit, but I have a hard time harvesting a rabbit because the way that it's done, I don't know, it didn't work. And I think I would have the same problem with a goat because it's too cute.
Yeah. It's I've done some videos, not I've done the videos, I've watched some videos of butchering a goat, and I mean it's not as easy as it's not that it's ever easy, but it's not as easy as the chicken. I don't know what it is. I don't know. But then again, I eat meat. I'm not a vegetarian. And so if I ate goat, I would totally use it as a meat. But I don't.
I keep thinking back on it because we tried a few different ways, really humane ways to harvest the chickens. And I remember talking to my grandfather and my dad, and they were saying like my great aunt used to walk out there and she'd have her apron up. She'd just be tossing feed out. She'd grab a chicken by its neck, spin it around until its head came off, and then just keep feeding the chickens and let it go until it. What? And that's how she'd catch the chicken for dinner. That's a different mindset.
It is. And I think not that I want to swirl around a chicken by its neck, but I think that's more of what I want to do. I didn't like the whole process, and maybe I will try it again because we weren't, as per usual, we weren't 100% properly set up for when we did meat birds last time. We picked a really cold day to butcher them, so it was frustrating.
Yeah.
We didn't have a proper tractor to pull them, like a chicken tractor. And so we kind of just hodgepodged everything together and thinking it would work, and it wouldn't. And so if we did ever try meat birds again, it would be that way. It would be in a way where we did everything properly. I'd probably want to have a certain pen for them. But I want to go more down the path of, like, say, Chris and Stephanie from Hickory Croft. They have all the same bird. It's a dual purpose bird, meat and egg. And then, when it comes time, they take their birds they're not going to bring into next year, and then that's what they harvest. I found it hard to raise the meat birds, knowing the whole time these guys are meat birds. But I also allowed myself to distance myself from that too. So maybe I will give it one more try, especially with the way prices are going up.
Of course.
Maybe we should put in an order for the summer.
Well, right? I told my husband that this morning we have to place our order for our meat chickens. The only reason why we're not doing dual purpose is because of space.
Yeah.
If I had space, if I had land like you guys, I would prioritize, like make a priority of having a dual purpose bird.
Right.
The meat flock would be on compost, and my layers would be in the field.
Yeah.
That would each of them would have like a special chore, and I would be comfortable having them at harvest at 9 months. It would be a little bit different than meat chickens, but I'm sure that I would be able to build an operation that I would be comfortable with.
Yeah.
But only having a small part of land to allocate to my meat birds, I have to do 2 harvests, one in the spring and one in the fall. I can only have 25.
Yes. At a time or together?
At a time. No, at a time. I have some for my parents. I have some for me, and I keep some for my parents' neighbors. So I raise for 3 people. I don't raise enough, but like I do with what I can. Yep. And if I'm out, I'm out. I'm not going to buy them from the store. If I was to raise meat goats, or if I was to go into goats and have a male not knowing what to do with it, I think I would not butcher it on my own. I would send it to get butchered.
Yeah. What I was going to say too about goats is I have contemplated it. I have thought about it. I know with us being in the western part of the world, we're one of the only continents that or countries or whatever is it continent that doesn't have goats as their primary source. We have cows and pigs, but goats are a very lean meat. They don't carry their fat in their meat. They carry it in, like, I guess, their stomachs. And so it's a very lean meat. And that's why when you go east, you see everybody eating goats or lambs. And so here we eat cows and pork. Now, we've thought about, once we're set up in a couple of years, raising a cow we thought about dairy, but it would be way too much dairy for us too.
Well, of course, it would be like a couple of gallons a day. What will you do with a couple of gallons? But there is a mini Jersey, by the way.
I know, that's the one I wanted. So my original thing was I so want a mini Jersey, but in Canada there's only 2 sellers.
Oh no!
And they're rare to come by. In the States, they're still expensive, but they're very easy to come by because a lot of the homesteaders started it over there.
You just missed on my dream.
I started searching, like, after a couple years of watching YouTubes and knowing this is what I wanted to do, it was very hard. Now, with that being said, it is technically a genetic issue. And so there are still some that aren't born into the breeders. I know somebody that had a dwarf cow. And so it's not technically a mini Jersey, but
it's a dwarf.
It's I mean, I guess it would be a mini, whatever breed it was, but it's not like the mini Jerseys are not an actual breed. They're just miniature Jerseys.
Well, I'm so far from that aspect. Like I stopped reading about it because like I would have to sell a house. Well, no, I have to finish the renovations of the house because my husband is a little bit like Mike. He starts many, many, many projects, but never finishes them. He never finishes them. So we started a bathroom upstairs, like a full bathroom upstairs. It's not finished. Right. Now we had water damage. We have to fix that. Now after that, we started my kitchen. We did it in 3 phases. It's still not done. And the water damage is right on top. So like my kitchen's here, my the ceiling, and then the bathroom's the stairs. So like I have a humongous hole in my ceiling in my kitchen. And then we started to do the bathroom downstairs, not finished. The laundry room started, not finished. So if he wanted to sell the house to move to something else, I still have to convince my husband to finish all of that because we're not going to get anything very high value for the house.
Mike knows what I'm going to say. So for years, when we lived in the city house before we moved to the cabin, for years I was like, I want to redo the floors on the main floor. I want to give the carpets new stairs. I want to paint the bathroom because everything was original to when we moved in. And I'm like, I did our bedrooms, and I think our living and dining room, but that was it. And so I'm like, I wanted to do the floors. We wanted to make the basement. So, because you walk downstairs and it was just 2 bedrooms and it was nice and newer looking, but it was just, I wanted to do something with it. And so 3 weeks before we sold or decided to put our house on the market, all of it was done. We got some guy in to come scrape up the floors and paint it or stain it. We got the carpet done, the bathroom done. The downstairs went from 2 bedrooms to 1.5. Everything, we put in a door to go out to the garage. Everything was done in 3 weeks.
Nice.
When you have a deadline and it's like not just the wife's deadline, but also like a deadline for them.
Yep.
Oh my God. And the contractor we had come in and he was trying to quote us on the basement. He messed that up. And then he told us that we'd have to move the stairs to put a door from the inside to the garage. And I'm like,
That's
no,
huge.
That's
so Mike just knocked the wall down and made a door himself.
Like he was out of his mind. There was no way, no reason you needed to reinforce what he was saying. Like nothing.
No.
So I don't know what he was talking about.
Yeah.
Well, I'm gonna finish that or get someone to finish it, and then we'll see. Angie, I got my wood cook stove going, and what brand did you pick for your cabin?
I saw that question just a minute ago, so I went to look it up because I actually forgot. It's called the Margin Flame View. So I'll see.
The name sounds like dreamy.
Yeah, it's built by the Amish. I don't know how clear this will come in, but this is
That's what you got?
Yeah.
Wow.
So over here is where we're going to be able to see the fire, and then it'll be the hottest above there on the stove. This is like a little warming oven box, and then it's an oven. I'm doing it backwards. An oven is right there.
So you're going to be like off-grid Doug and Stacy.
Hopefully, but we had a stove very similar to this. Actually, I'll pull the one we came from. What was Gem Pack? So the stove we came from, the only complaint I had about it, I would have picked this stove again. I did love it, but the only problem here, well, this is half of a picture. Oh, here's a full one. The only problem is it didn't have something where I could see the fire. So I cooked on that for 2 years.
Wow.
And so the new stove is just a little bit bigger on the end so that you could have a firebox where you could see the fire. But I miss cooking on this. Like, it took a while to get used to it. And once you do, man, you can have an entire buffet going at the same time while stuff in the warming oven is still waiting to, like it's staying warm while everything else. Plus, you're heating your house, you're heating your water. So it's nice. Yeah. So, and they're not, I mean, they're expensive, they're pricey.
Yeah, but they're multi-purpose.
This one here, without the flame view, you can pick up for $2,500 to $3,000. So it's not.
A gas stove is in that price range.
Yeah. And so this one, you can, even with the flame view, we added a few things. So we added the warming oven, we added an automatic damper, we added the water jacket so that we can circulate the water and heat it with the stove. And so the added things were like $1,000, but I think the base price, the one with the flame view, was $3,800, I think it was. So, and then they deliver to the closest, because they're out of Stratford, Ontario. And so they deliver to the closest, like truck stop or wherever they have a forklift to take it off. And then we can either go pick it up or pay for shipping. But I think the closest one to us is like within an hour. So we'll probably just go pick it up.
Yeah.
But
is that arriving soon?
I told him no rush because we're going to be in here. So he said it could take anywhere from like 3 to 4 months, but because I'm not in a rush, he said probably 4 to 6 months. So we'll probably get it in May, June.
Nice.
Mm-hmm.
See, I was not the only one that says rabbit are the hardest, especially when the kids name them. Yeah.
Yeah.
My kids name them all my rabbits, and now they're doing compost for me. I agree. When kids were younger, they had harder times. Now they are older, it's easier. Well, there is one thing that my kids and every kids that are exposed to this lifestyle, they understand the birds and the bees quite fast.
Mm-hmm.
I don't have to explain it to them, and they understand death.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yep.
And that it's part of life,
Yep.
and that it's sad and it's okay to be sad, but they understand the grieving part. They understand the whole process. They know where their food comes from, either if it's meat or if it's food from the garden, so that they have a better perspective of life very young.
Yeah.
So like my daughter one day came up and she talked to me about the birds and the bees. I'm like, where did you, I never spoke to you about it. She's like 9. And she's like, well, I saw the ducks.
Can't hide it from there, can you?
And no, you can't, because like the ducks are like, it's the only males that I can't have because they're silent.
Right.
And my duck is always mounting a little dirty beep. So my daughter understood quite
Really
fast,
quick.
but very quick with the birds and the bees. And then she understand that when male and female does something, there's like something else that happens down the road with the eggs. We have little babies.
Yep.
She kind of saved me a long conversation.
You didn't have to tell her the stork story?
The what?
The stork story?
I don't know what that is.
It's a bird, and I can't. I think.
Oh yeah, La Cigogne, where the one that brings the babies.
Brings the babies. Yeah, they're called storks in English.
There's a movie about it. We watched the movie.
I think my mom told my sister for years that the stork would bring the baby or something. I don't know who. She used to tell it to somebody, and I'm like, no,
no, I couldn't tell that to my daughter. She understood before she saw
right
the movie.
Yeah.
Okay. My boyfriend do the harvest job. I do all the cleaning and most of the care while they are alive. I do too. I'm naming my new lamb Kebab.
My dad named his cow Hamburger.
That's the way. Hi Tracy, I'm so behind on comments. So sorry. That's the way to do it. We had pigs named Bacon and Dinner. My turkeys were called Christmas and New Year's.
There you go. That's why. So going back to Mike's comment that he tried to throw me under the bus.
Being mean.
We got 3. No, yeah, we had 3 turkeys.
Yep.
And our purpose was to have a male, a female, and breed eggs, and not have an overwhelming stock of turkey, but have at least 1 or 2 a year that we could eat. And then the only one to survive was the turkey we currently have. So then I bought her another, I think it was 2 turkeys I bought more of. Those died. So turkeys have a 50% death rate once they're on your property. Yeah. And so I don't know. I don't think it was anything we did. I don't know if it was where they came from, because I did get them off somebody, all the same place. And I don't know, because they had everything that they had at that place. But anyways, so we got that turkey. So then the turkey started acting like a goat. So would hang with the goats, sleep with the goats, eat with the goats. It was completely like a goat disguised as a turkey.
He was kind of lost.
Yeah. And then it found the chickens, and the chickens didn't like her. And then she didn't like the chickens forever. And then all of a sudden one day, actually, it was when we moved here. So when we moved here, we couldn't catch turkey at first. And we caught, the goats went up to the new property, and the chickens all left. And then turkey was by herself screaming for a friend. And she was like, I have it on video. She's like going around squawking, like, where is everybody? Anyways, she
I have a picture in my mind.
Yeah. Whatever sound she makes. And so when I brought her back up, she went right to the chickens. And when we, we took the goats away, she didn't care. Then we took the chickens away and she would not stop. And so when we came up into their temporary home, she just went right to the chickens and then became one. She's back to being a goat though, because all the chickens
So, she has a personality issue.
the second time she still sleeps in the chicken pen, but she was the only thing to fight off the fox twice. Yeah. And so we have no chickens left. And for the first couple of days, she was crying, but now she's hanging with the goats again. So,
well, she found a friend.
That's why we haven't killed her.
My turkey order this year, I bought 4, and 3 died. Yeah. I had a loner, and turkeys hate being alone. Thank God I bought meat chickens at the same time as my turkey, but the turkey was smaller than the meat chickens. So the poor thing was nearly killed by the meat chickens. So I had to buy 2 little, I guess, turkey poults. No, little des poussins, like younger. And the Tom, I think he was like 4 weeks old. I brought a week-old little turkeys, and he acted like a father. He raised those little turkeys, and the 3 of them were like cuddled up all together. He was acting like a woman, like a mom. He was raising those turkeys. I didn't have to put the heat plate. He was managing the heat for them, feeding them for the first week, and then they would follow each other all over. It was weird to see. Yeah. You would never see that from a meat bird.
Right. Well, when we got in the summertime, we had one of our birds that we had to put down. She was ill, and the turkey, that's the one thing I found with them. They are full of personality. She will talk to you. If you talk with her and squawk with her, she'll talk to you. And she used to like flutter down. She'd come in front of you and she'd flutter down, and then she'd squat and she'd want you to hug her.
Obviously you can't eat her.
Not to mention I don't know what got her, if it was a rooster, we're assuming it was, but something got her last year right down her breast, and it just sliced her open, like almost like a big portion like you'd put on your plate for dinner. And so it was right through the meat, and she survived that too. So I'm like, this thing has survived all her siblings dying. She has survived 2 fox attacks, something that got her. I'm like, how can we be like, yeah, that's it, your will to live? No, it doesn't matter, your dinner.
Does she do eggs?
She did lay a couple, but we haven't seen any in.
I don't know. Well, see, that's the thing, is we let Brody just kind of wander.
Yeah,
because he stays near the property.
Yeah,
and he's been known to go into the coop and like just take the eggs.
Yeah, we did get a couple of her that we got to see before, and they're quite big and they're pretty neat.
Yeah, they're different. They're bigger.
Yeah.
I think we're like 15 minutes behind. I'm going to read. I used to think I wouldn't be able to raise and then eat animals, but with prices the way they are, I'm starting to. It is very, very hard to take a life. It's very hard. But like knowing where your food come from.
Yeah.
And once you've tasted that food, I can never go back to store-bought. I just can't.
You have to think too, like I've heard a lot of people say that, and no matter what, if you're going to eat meat at the end of the day, if you get it from a grocery store, this is what my awakening was, because I had a hard time with eating it too. They have a much better life with you than they would if you bought meat from a grocery store.
True.
So if you're going to eat meat anyways, that's what helped me get over it.
Ecocentrics Homestead says, empathy is like phobia. No amount of self-prodding prep talk will change it. It's hard to harvest, but knowing that you gave them their best life, and their sacrifice is feeding your family, makes it worth it. People have ordered 20 meat chickens from me so far. I need to go ahead and order them. That's nice. Pre-orders. Hello, Julie Gilpin. This is a new subscriber. My favorite homesteading book shares your name, Reader's Digest, Back to Basics. I'd never known there was a book called Back to Basics Homestead. I didn't know. It's on a live, I think 6 months ago. Someone says, "Did you know there's a book with your name?" Like, I didn't know.
I used to read Reader's Digest all the time.
Did you?
Yeah. They had some of the best stories in there.
Yeah, they had nice pictures and nice stories. Yeah, I would read them when I would go to the doctor's office because I don't buy them.
Right.
I've missed a couple of comments. What does this mean? Also, Dexter's are mini cows.
Yeah, Dexter's.
And you can get 10 liters a day. What would you do with 10 liters or 10 liters a day?
Have more kids?
Yeah.
I could handle 10 liters a day, but you two, you would have to share.
I would be making a lot of cheese, a lot of butter.
Yeah.
If I only had it for a season, like if I only had the milk for one season, I think I could do it, because then I would do a lot of butter and then freeze it or can it. I would do a lot of like cream, and you know what I mean? I would do a lot of things if it was only for one season, but for going forever, no, I couldn't do it.
That would be a lot of milk.
Yeah.
I'm trying to talk to my hubby into a mini cow. So I guess we're a couple.
Start with goats.
Yeah.
That's how
I look at my raised to butcher animals as fulfilling their life's purpose. My pigs aren't even born yet, and they already have a butcher date.
Yeah.
It's a way of seeing it.
Yeah.
Not for me, not for me, not for me.
So one thing I'll say too is about the mini goats. I'm not sure if I said this last week. So the reason I went with Nigerian dwarf goats was because their milk was the closest tasting to cow's milk. And
I've heard that.
Yeah. And so my sister was raised on goat's milk from the store because she couldn't have cow's milk. And I had a sour taste in my head of what it was going to taste like. And the only reason I went with the dwarf goats was because of the milk taste. And because they were going to produce a lot less than what a cow would. So we used to, what'd we get? Like 1 liter to 2 liters a day? A liter.
Yeah,
I think about a
1 to
liter.
1.5.
Yeah,
a day.
You had two females or one?
We were only milking one at the time because our other one's a hard milker. So we were only milking one, and we were getting about, I'm going to say 2 cups worth, maybe just a little bit more depending on how full she was, a day, or a milking. So about 1 liter to 1.5 liters every day. And so that was more manageable because we used it for coffee and everything else I said before. And then I froze some too. So it was a lot more manageable.
Well, obviously 1 liter a day is not that bad, but 10 liters a day?
Yeah, no, I couldn't do that. But when we tried it, it was, it does taste like, to us, it tasted just like cow's milk.
Nice.
We drank it raw, like both raw and pasteurized. We drank to try it out. So
you have comments about the stove you chose. And Julie says it's stove is sweet, and Little House by the Woods says it's nice.
Yes. It is. It's made. Did I say it was made by the Amish? I did.
I am watching Life Before Below Zero and Skip Daughters. We're sucking row right out. I'm going to catch up on the comments because you remember last week I went a little bit over 7:30?
Yeah.
I don't want to go over because tomorrow they're back from spring break, so they've been home for a week, and getting them back on routine is going to be it's going to be a hard one. Don't let your kids learn birds and bees from your chickens. I am still shocked at how violent. It's so true. Well, the ducks are a little bit less, but they're very frequent. So I might teach different things to my kids. I was going to buy each hen. I'm not. Ha ha ha.
That's funny.
Okay. Geez, we're going to order turkeys, but not sure.
Right.
When I guess she's talking about this year. She just identified as a goat. You see, you're. I think we're talking about your turkey.
Oh yeah,
That's
he's
not
bad. I'm sorry. I'm at that stage of life where it's corny mom and dad jokes.
The day killing becomes easy with no remorse. It is time to pack it in your for us, every single time it's harvest day, we do not celebrate that it's harvest day, and we're not happy to go into harvest day. But once it's done,
Yeah,
we feel accomplished because the freezer's full.
yeah. I feel it's the thinking before can get
Yeah, and for my husband, he cannot eat chickens for at least a month.
Yeah.
He refuses to eat. He's going to eat other types of meat. If I cook pork, he's going to eat it. But anything that looks like a chicken, he won't eat it.
Yeah, no.
Yes, we always say just because we eat them doesn't mean they can't live a good life first. True.
Yeah.
Does turkey attack snakes? I don't know.
Not that I've seen.
Don't know.
I don't know.
I've never seen them go after a snake. I know that they've killed mice. The chickens have.
Yeah.
And
Wonder if there will be a turkey for sale at convention. Will you be bringing your turkey at convention?
No, turkey's a keeper.
You would be too tired for milking to make more kids.
Do you know you'd be too tired for milking to make more kids? We can't have no more kids anyways. We're in the grandparent stage now.
I'd be fine with 10 liters a day. Yeah, well, you have kids, Danielle. They don't have kids. Well, they have grandchildren, so it's not the same thing. My husband grew up on a farm and grew up on goat's milk. Nice.
It's actually more common, like she was saying, in most of the world.
Yeah.
Well, when I went to Mexico when I was little in 90 something, there was goat's milk everywhere in Mexico. Like you would ask for cow's milk, they'd look at you like, what are you? Like, we don't have cows here. We don't have cow's milk. And it tastes way different. So if you're used to milk cow and you switch to like another type of dairy, it's kind of hard to switch.
With the regular goats, yeah. With Nigerian dwarf, their fat content in their milk is higher. So that's where it tastes a lot more like cow's milk. So we tried it raw. I wish I could find the video. It's a super cute video because I was scared to try it. And so it was my first time ever trying goat's milk. And you could see it in my face. I was genuinely shocked. And I thought it was going to taste something goaty or, because they have a distinct smell.
And you definitely hear that from everybody that, goat's milk tastes more goaty or more like a goat.
Yeah.
And this one didn't.
No.
It tasted just like cow's milk.
Yeah.
And how was the butter?
It takes a little bit longer. So you have to, with cow's milk, you can put it in cool, and basically within the next couple of days, you're going to have a really thick cream line. So with goat's milk, although they're fattier than other goats, they're not as fat as cows. So you have to let it sit a little bit longer. But once you prepped it like you would normally prep butter from a cow, it tasted just like butter.
Yeah.
And when you bake with it, they say like a quarter cup of butter, would your end result of baking would be the same?
Yeah, you would still use quarter cup if you needed quarter cup. Yeah.
But I mean the consistency of the
I never baked with it. I only used it for toast because you do get a lot less cream and a lot less butter than you would from cows. So although we made butter, it was not as much as it would be from a cow. And so
I think we got like a cup in total.
No, we had more than that over time because we milked for 2 months.
But yeah, I think at one time, I think all we had
was like a cup of butter, but we used it for toast and stuff like that, right? And so we didn't taste the difference, and the consistency was all the same once you washed it and rinsed it and everything.
Okay. So I'm seeing that sheep milk is the best milk, is sweet and rich.
Yeah. I've heard that. I've never tried it, but I've heard that.
Okay, so I have about 5 minutes left
Okay.
to the live. I know I feel bad every single week when I tell you guys I have to go, but
Part 3 sometime?
you see, I had all these questions,
Yeah.
and I had some here, and I'm gonna ask. I have Remy that asked me a question for you guys.
We'll do a speed round.
So I'm gonna sum it up because he's like, it's many questions in one. How do you think you're gonna feel on your first day when you walk into your home?
Like
When
it's not
finished,
like it's
finished,
not
done.
day.
Like Christmas in July.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
And
Like-
what do you think you're gonna do? The first thing you're gonna do inside of your house?
Oh, I already know this. Like as far as building or like once we're moving in?
Like when it's finished, when like you're in your house,
Yep.
what will be your first thing that you do?
Mike says he knows my answer, so I want to see if he knows it. Go.
You're gonna have a bath.
No.
Really?
No. No.
Okay. I
am going to create homes for everything. Because home. So like my closet is gonna have clothes. I'm gonna have all my like different spots. You know how you can have, your drawer, you have your junk drawer, you have your, silverware drawer. I'm gonna put everything and make everything have a home because nothing has a home right now and it's driving me insane. So when we clean, it's like 5 minutes later, it's not clean anymore. And it's because nothing has a home. So I'm going to spend my time creating homes and then I will have a bath.
So part 1, create a home. Part 2,
Yeah.
And what about you, Mike?
Speed round.
I don't know. I'm looking forward most, I think, to being able to sit on the front porch.
Yeah.
Have a nice cup of coffee in the morning and enjoy a nice summer morning or spring morning.
Without having to worry about building. Like big stuff.
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay, I have time to ask you guys one more question.
Okay.
Do you find it challenging to balance the build of your cabin, whatever project you're working on, because I know you've mentioned a couple of projects last week, and Angie dreaming of a huge garden this year?
Let's just say we're thankful we have a backhoe. Because there would be no digging going on by hand on that scale. It is hard for us right now. I think we're really feeling the brunt of it. It is really hard to, at first it was kind of like, okay, we're going to do a house, we're going to build this, and now we're in the we want winter over, we want the snow to be gone, we want to just live in a house again. And so right now it's really hard, and I find it makes a lot of other things challenging too.
On top of we're learning the contour of the land while we're living on it.
Mhm.
So even though it was a fairly flat area, we're finding, like you said, where the water's draining to and things like that. So we're going to have to manipulate things as we go along.
Yeah, because
obviously every year the water doesn't act the same way.
No, but like our place too, it kind of like from the top of the driveway being up here, it kind of goes down, which is good because then the water goes down and away. But we're learning, like today, even when we had the melt of the snow, we didn't get a lot of rain, but we had with it being 9 degrees, a front part of our garage is all in water right now. So
that's not good.
No, at least it's not hitting the babies.
It's only like half an inch deep,
yeah.
So it's not like deep,
right?
But whatever.
But it's enough to be like, okay, we need to dig a trench in the spring.
Yeah.
Yeah, that sucks.
Yeah.
My sister-in-law had Nigerian dwarf and got the milk for our chickens.
Yeah.
Doesn't allow selling milk without a permit, but it was delicious.
Yeah.
Okay.
Or so the chickens.
Or yeah. It wasn't for them, it was for the chickens.
Yeah, it was for the chickens.
Yeah, it's same here. We're not allowed to do that either.
A slob comes clean, best resource to learn how to create proper homes.
Slob comes clean.
I don't know how you milk that too. I think she's talking about
sheep.
No, El Dan said sheep. Yeah, I'm guessing you milk it the same way.
They're very, very tiny. They're teats.
Well, I have very small hands. I think if I
no, it's not. So with the Nigerian dwarf, you don't use your whole hand like you would a cow. I got to be careful with my hand gestures here, but
it's gonna be a short night, I think.
It's a little bit more tricky on a Nigerian dwarf goat, but sheep are like very, very, very tiny. So you would have to use like, from my understanding, anyways, just your fingers. Mm-hmm. And that's as far as I'll get into that.
After that, it's TMI. Too much information.
You guys go do your own Google researching.
Well, Mr. Google should be the first place you go, or Mr. YouTube, to find out a lot. And then that's after going through all of that, I have so many questions, and then I try to go find someone that I know that's willing to answer like my gajillion questions. But I don't think anytime soon I'm gonna go within goats.
Right.
My husband wants a cow, but I don't think so.
If you ever come here, you can try. It's actually, I promise, go watch my video. I was like, oh my gosh, it tastes just like milk.
Now that you say it, I have to go watch.
Yeah. He's still calling goat's milk.
So I thank you guys for answering all of my questions. I hope that for anyone that was curious, if it helped. If there's questions that you guys want to ask, I did make a community post. I think it was like early on this week. You can go write them there. And if I have enough, maybe we can do a part 3 if you guys are up to it.
Up to it.
Because I asked all the questions that I had personally, and then Remy sent me one. So I'm sure people may have or may not. We'll see. Or we can find another subject to talk about, because I love doing I love to do lives with multiple people. It's so fun.
Yes, it is.
And thanks everyone for coming in the comments.
Yep. Oh, I'm gonna say one more thing while we have people here. Hold on.
Yes.
I'm gonna say, okay.
Oh, yes.
So I just met Marcy from Learning Curve Acres, and if you guys are in Ontario, Canada, and want to travel, I know. So I went and picked up posters for the Eastern Ontario Conference. So
nice.
Yeah. So I'm gonna hang them around our town, and I was just gonna promote it there. So hopefully we get to meet you in person, Annie, and then
I'm supposed to make it, unless like something happens. I'm doing everything I can to go. I probably will be alone.
Sweet.
Or if I can find myself a babysitter for my kids, because I do not want to make my kids. I want not to be rude, but I want to be able to be myself, to meet you guys, chat with you guys, and not always look for my kids.
Yep.
So if I can go, it's going to either be just me or me and my husband. We'll see.
Yep.
I'm trying to convince Annie from Mama Homemade to tag along.
Oh, come along.
Absolutely. But she doesn't drive, so we have to find a way for her to come to my house, and then I would drive her there. But here's the thing. I don't know how she would, like, when we come back, I don't know how she would leave my house to go to her house, because she's 2 hours away from my house.
Right.
And I have no idea what time we'll leave the convention. So like if her husband, like, we need to time. She has 6 kids, so like
a lot of planning.
Yeah, it's a lot of planning. So she was maybe thinking of getting a babysitter for some of her kids, and then I don't know. We're talking something, trying to figure something out. But she's close by to my house, so we'll see if we can make it work.
Cool. Maybe you guys can go in on a babysitter, and both kids can, you can combine. That's what I used to do when I wanted out. Get 1 or 2 babies.
9 kids. That's the babysitter's gonna want to kill me after like maybe a couple of hours.
As long as everything's okay and she doesn't message you.
True. I don't think I'll be looking at my phone.
I had no reception. I don't know what you speak of.
What call? I didn't get your call.
Put it on airplane mode.
Yeah.
Nobody will know.
Neither will you.
Well, thanks a lot, everyone. and we'll chat later.
Yes, we will.
Take care. Bye.
All right. Thanks, everybody.
Have a good night.